Alright, so welcome back here everybody, and now we're ready to go ahead and continue the process of painting weights here. And we're going to go ahead and paint our weights on our body here. So we just need to go ahead and take some time here and just begin the process and try and work through of painting the weights on our body. So let's just go ahead and grab a joint here, and we're going to rotate, and just remembering the joint that we selected, so it's going to be joint 1 here. And we'll just start off with that and just work through the process here of painting weights for our body. So joint 1 here, and we'll come in here and smooth some of this out here, and we'll just go ahead and concentrate on what we're doing here. Okay, so joint 2 here is obviously the end of the tail, so we'll go ahead maybe and add a little bit more weighting information for bit of the tail here, just trying to mirror it as best as we can. Since I'm not going to really use that mirror function for our joint tool, we'll just try and copy what we're doing from one side to the other, just trying to at least do the best that we can to copy that. And we'll just work slowly through our joint system here. And that's about as far as I think our tail should really rotate. Maybe not too much more in terms of the actual pose. So it just takes a little bit of concentration, a little bit of time to really get all that weight painting information, at least nice and proper and in the way that we want. So we just have to be a little bit careful. Okay, so we can probably go ahead and rotate that back. Let's go ahead and just check to see if this is working the way that I want. So I think that's looking fairly good. Okay, select this joint. We'll go ahead and rotate joint 4 here. See how this is rotating. Okay, so you can see where the wireframe here gets a little discombobulated, and definitely on the right side here, so we definitely need to go ahead and paint for that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and select joint 4 here. Smooth that out a little bit. And you can start on whatever side that you want. It doesn't really matter. And that's joint 4, so I want to take a look at joint 5 there too. Okay. Also joint 6, because these are really going to be what's going to be manipulating the body. Okay, so we're definitely going to have to add a little bit there on that. Try and get the underbelly here. And we'll probably spend a good half an hour just tweaking the weights here to make sure that everything is working the way that I want it to work, at least for the most part here. And we'll try and work our way through here. I just want to see exactly what's going to be pulling this part of the mesh, and I don't think it's going to be any of these. Could be the tail joints. Nope. Okay, so it's definitely one of the body joints here. And joint 7 here is up in the front, so we'll go ahead and maybe smooth this out a little bit here. And I'm just taking a look here to see exactly what we're doing, and I want to make sure that this is going to be I don't want to say perfect, because nothing is ever perfect. I just want to make sure that everything is going to work proper and nice here. Go ahead and throw a little bit more weighting information here. Okay, I'm going to take a look, see what joint this is. That's joint 7. Okay, joint 7, so probably throw a little bit more weighting information here on the front of the top fin here. And on the top of the head here. And we can really, tweak this here in a minute, because we'll definitely be rotating the head here just to make sure that everything is going to be at least moving correctly. You'll see if I paint one side, I definitely try and make sure that I paint the other side the same here. Okay. And I'm trying not to use such a large brush that it's encapsulating too much. I just want to make sure that I grab enough of the information, enough of a large enough brush stroke that I get, more than enough to basically smooth out the ends so that it's all going to at least work the way I expect it to. So we'll just, simply work our way through painting the weights here. Go ahead and move up a little bit. So we grab joint 3. Smooth this out a little bit here. Need to smooth this side out here a little bit too. Okay, so you can see there where our body mesh is starting to come along a lot better. Maybe throw a little bit more weighting information here. Smooth that out. Okay. Let's take a look at joint 4. Need to definitely smooth that out. Let's go ahead and smooth this side out here as well. And this is where that, let me come back up here to skin, bind skin, smooth bind, and we'll take a look at the option box. This is really where the drop off rate and the max influences really do pay off, because it just makes it much easier if you give it a little bit extra in terms of painting your weights. Because you want everything to really be smooth whenever your mesh is actually moving, so you don't want to see any major creases or anything. So that's looking fairly decent there, actually. Let's go ahead and move up a joint here, and this can probably get adjusted at least a little bit here. So that's joint 5. Make sure we select joint 5 here. Okay, we'll just work our way through here. And you can see where we get a little bit pinching there, so maybe we'll go inside the mesh. Smooth out our insides here. I'm trying not to get, too many creases in terms of, I don't know if you guys can actually see that, where it's really more or less a hard edge here. I'm trying to keep it as smooth as I can, because let's say if an animator was animating this and he did sort of an extreme pose and it gets creasy like that, the animation is really going to look a little bit weird. So we just want to try and take all that crease information out as best as we possibly can. We really don't want to have, goofy looking animation. We really want the mesh to deform at least as properly as we can, so you can really see it here. And I'm definitely going to need to paint a little bit there. Okay. So I'll definitely have to smooth that out a little bit. It's really no big deal. Okay, so we can probably go ahead and rotate this back here as well. And we'll just take out that, oops, that minus symbol there. So that comes over onto the other side. And you can really see where the fin here is actually a little bit problematic. So we'll just go into the mesh here. Try and smooth this out here. Okay. And we'll go ahead and rotate this. And we're looking pretty good there. So you can see here where this portion of the mesh is a little bit messed up, so we definitely need to paint some weighting information here. Maybe we can go ahead and take some of that information actually off and see how that turns out. Okay. Let's see if we can't take more of that information off of that. That looks fine now. And sometimes, you know, you paint a little bit too much and you have to just trickle back a little bit here. Okay, so we'll go ahead here and take a look at 4, smooth that out. Like I said, the key here is just to make sure that your mesh and your wireframe are really going to be as smooth as you possibly can when painting weights. So definitely just take your time and just work through, what you're doing. Scroll up here, we'll take a look at joint 3. And you'll see that I'm constantly jumping between joints just to make sure that, everything is at least working out the way that I want it to. Joint 6 here too, so, we're really just being mindful of what we're doing. I'm constantly looking in between the joints to make sure that everything is working the way that it should. Sometimes getting it to manipulate right is not necessarily the easiest thing in the world. We just have to be really, really mindful of, what we're doing. Okay, so we can probably rotate back to the normal view there. Okay, let's go ahead and rotate this back. Let's take a look here at our head as well. Okay, so this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky, because we want to make sure that our head joint is actually going to be rotating the head properly. So that's joint 7 and the end is joint 8. So let's go ahead and work on that here. And we want to make sure that the head is almost separated from the body. So it's going to make it a little bit easier here. So maybe have to throw some more joint information in here, because we want to make sure that we get enough of that head to rotate so that it actually looks like the head's rotating and not being manipulated too much. And this is really where we're going to, be refining how this mesh is going to be animating and moving. So a lot of this is theory and just really trying to, figure out what's going to be going on here. And do we want the actual head rotation to be controlling the back here of this top fin? Probably not, so we'll go ahead and pull that information off. Smooth that out. But we do want part of that fin to move. Okay. We definitely don't want the side fins here moving, so I'm just looking to see if there's any weighting information on these. So we'll go ahead and pull that fin information off of the head joint. And you'll notice, you know, like I said, I didn't rename any of the actual body joints or the spine joints, and that's because it's a small mesh. It's not really a super complex rig, so there's really no need to go ahead and do that, at least on my end. If you guys want to go ahead and do that, you're definitely welcome to. And we'll just continue painting here. And after this lesson, we should be ready to go ahead and start adding some of the controls to the body, and that'll be really easy because we'll go ahead and just use a simple script that I have and have coded to go ahead and make our controllers, and that'll make it, you know, 100% easier rather than having to do all the controllers basically from scratch. I can just simply click a button and it'll be fairly easy to go ahead and do. And you guys can download a script like that either from Creative Crash or another site to make your control curves. And the best advice I can give you guys to really be painting weights is really just take your time and be as meticulous as you can be, because you really want this stuff to, you know, move properly. So that looks kind of good. I think I'm happy with that for the most part. So go ahead and throw that back to 0 here, and let's just take a look at the rest of our meshes, because this is really where I want to go ahead and finalize my weights, and definitely, you know, change anything if I need to change it, or if I feel like changing it, we can go ahead and change it just easier rather than later on in the process. That looks good. Okay, so there you can actually see there is a little bit of a problem here with the fin because you can see the tail moving. Okay, so we'll go ahead and fix that here. And we'll just go ahead and replace that and basically take that information off of the tail. I don't know what I was thinking there. I don't know how I didn't see that one. So it just means that we're going to have to do the same thing here for this one, just to make sure that we pull all this information off as well. Okay, so let's go ahead here and reselect this joint here. See if we can get this to move. That looks good. Okay, that looks good. We'll go ahead and throw this back here. Take a look at this side. And I'm really just trying to focus in on the tail there. Doesn't look like the tail is moving there. Maybe a little bit, so we'll go ahead and pull that information off here as well. And if you guys wanted to, you can always use the component editor, which sometimes makes it easier. So say we wanted to really go ahead and adjust that a whole lot quicker. All we need to go ahead and do is just select our vertices, grab all those vertices that we want to adjust the weights on. Okay, and you can see that I've actually selected a little bit too many there, so I'll just go ahead and grab the lasso tool, and we'll go ahead and move down here. Okay, select those, and we'll jump up here to the window. General editors, the component editor. Let me go ahead and just pull this over here because this is a little bit large. Smooth skins. So we would want the right fin here, and we'll just go all the way down, just making sure that there really is no weights here, and just zero all that out. And I just simply, selected the top one, scrolled down, shift selected the bottom one, and then just hit 0 and enter, and that'll pull all that information off there. So we'll go ahead and just throw back our joints, and we will go ahead and select that joint here if we can. Okay, so you can see that that joint information has been completely pulled off there. Go ahead and zero out that rotation. Select the other joint here just to make sure. Oops. I just need to make sure that I select just that joint. Okay, so all that information there is looking fine. Doesn't seem like anything else is moving that shouldn't be moving. Maybe a little on the tail there. Let me see here. Yep, that's just a little bit. So we'll go ahead and fix that up here. Okay, so that looks like it's been fixed up. Let's go ahead and reselect this joint, and just to make sure, we'll go ahead and start rotating in the Y direction. And you'll see that I'm really just trying to zoom in to make sure that there's nothing moving on the mesh that shouldn't be moving. Okay, so we'll go ahead and throw that back to 0. Just double check our joints here. That all looks good. Okay, throw that back to 0. Check the other side here. Alright, so I think we're good with our weight painting here. And then in the next lesson, we'll go ahead and come back and begin the process of creating the control rig that we're going to need for our fish. So come on back.